Thomas, take it away.
There's a species of spider called the hobo spider. Did y'all know that? Bunch of freaking hobos.
Oh, gosh.
Also, heart attacks are most likely to happen on a Monday.
That makes sense.
I know.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So
An eagle can kill a young deer and fly away with it.
I'm going to kill you and fly away with you if you don't stop you reading these.
All right, so we got 3 Thomas facts of the day. We got a triple here, triple play going on. This is NFL Talk. Can't wait, Bart Scott, as we're going to go preview Week 5 as well as doing a little post-analysis of Week 4 as we're going to get you in the kickoff for this Thursday night game. Color Rush, Bucks and Pats.
Woo.
Interesting game. So we'll get right into it so we can get all the time we want analysis. And we'll kick it off with London and the Saints shutting out the Dolphins. What year is this, Randall?
Apparently it's 2012 because that is the last time the Saints shut out an opponent. 2012. That is really, really bad. But our defense, they looked great, man. I mean, I know it's the Dolphins offense, but they still have playmakers on that squad, you know. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, the corners looked really good. Crowley got a pick in the end zone. Lattimore looked really good. He actually ended up getting ranked, I think, second or maybe third. It was in the top 5. I know that. I'm pretty sure it was second or third, though, on Football Focus Corner of the Week. You know, we had a shot with our rookie linebacker going out. He's probably out for a few weeks, but you know, defense looked good. If we can keep that up, offense was rolling. Breeze to Thomas was working. Breeze to Kamara is really starting to work. It's pretty clear Adrian Peterson is the oddball out right now, and we need to trade him, in my opinion. But yeah, I think this game and another game we'll talk about here in a little bit really showed that the NFC South isn't just a runaway, and I think it's going to be a shootout, honestly. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. This kind of scares me for one of the teams out of the NFC South going to getting the wild card spot, though, because they might beat each other up so much that they might, you know, knock themselves out of getting one of those wild card spots.
And before we go over to Thomas about that game, fun fact, that game, Saints-Dolphins at 8:30 in the morning, had a higher rating than the Chargers. So the Chargers have no love whatsoever. Thomas, what do you think about that game in London?
Well, I think the Dolphins' offense is piss poor. I'm not saying that the Saints' defense is this amazing feature, but they're definitely better than they have been. I mean, shutting out a 1,000-yard back is impressive. You know, Jay Ajayi isn't a scrub, and you know, I thought he'd going back home and playing in his home country, he'd have a little better showing. With the Jay Cutler effect was in full-on effect Sunday morning. But yeah, I like the Saints. I've never not liked the Saints. I mean, I respect Drew Brees a lot, and I expected it to be a shootout like all Saints games are. Yeah, the defense is looking good.
So we'll transition over to another AFC East, NFC South matchup as we're talking about. Randall was getting to the Falcons looking a little iffy there, and they could be 1-3. They were a half yard to the Lions from losing, 2 drop passes from the Bears beating them, and the Bills rolling the wagon. Bills defense, 17 points allowed in the win versus Falcons, 16 points allowed in the win versus Broncos, 12 points allowed in the win versus Jets, and their one loss only allowing 9 to the Panthers. So Bills Falcons, you know, first place AFC East, Buffalo Bills. Not something you're used to saying, but their defense, they traded everyone away, yet they're playing great. They're stashing draft picks. This is an interesting look because Tyrod Taylor's looking good as well. And then the Falcons, I mean, Matt Ryan's not MVP Matt Ryan right now. Julio went out. I know they say he's supposed to be fine after the bye, but like he said, NFC South, this is opening up a little bit. So, Thomas, what do you think about those two headlines right there?
Yeah, along with the Julio factor, I think the bye week came at the perfect time for him to get healthy. But yeah, the Bills are probably one of my favorite teams right now, just because they're in the same division as Tom Brady and the Patriots, and it seems like if anybody's going to knock the Patriots off, it's going to be the Bills. I say that very, very lightly, obviously, because Brady's going to Brady. But I mean, 3-1, and you're at the top of the division. You're tied. No, you're sitting at the top of that division, and that is crazy. Because I think they have 2 first-round picks next year or the year after.
They're stacked. Or they're stacked with draft picks everywhere.
Yeah. So and they're doing well. I don't think that they keep. I honestly don't see them keeping it up just because of the division they play in. But yeah, the Bills are definitely a team to watch out for. But I don't think they're going to be anything later on down the road.
Well, and I know Randall and I had some good Bills talk before we had some technical difficulty. So, Randall, if you want to maybe give a little insight on what we were talking about last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it last night, but personally, I can't see that this is the real deal for them. I don't. I mean, I don't think that they're going to keep this going. I don't think they can take out the Pats. I don't think they can. I don't think they'll win a wild card spot, me personally. But yeah, I think a little bit of what we were talking about last night was Tyrod Taylor and how this is kind of his make or break season. If he had 12 for 20, 182, a touchdown, and then rushed for I think 12 yards last night or last weekend.
Yeah,
so
not much that one.
Yeah, that's not much stat wise, but he still won the game, and he won a game against a team that was in the Super Bowl last year and almost won the Super Bowl. Probably should have won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, this is his make or break season. If he keeps doing this, keeps winning, he doesn't have to put up huge stats. He doesn't have to put up huge stats. He just has to keep winning, and he's going to be that quarterback that they want. But with all those draft picks they have, if they want to go up and go get one of those quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, they can. So Tyrod Taylor probably knows that. I mean, that's probably in the back of his mind is if I don't play well this season, they're going to go up and get Rosen, or they're going to go up and get Darnold or someone, and then they're going to let me sit on the bench or go somewhere else. So I think he might be he's going to try to play his butt off this year, and I think he should because he wants that spot. McCoy, 20 carries for 76 yards. That's not great, but, I mean, they're still committed to the run, so that's good to see. And that defense, man, I mean, you hold
it's young and fast.
Yeah, you hold the Falcons to 17. Wow. I mean, if you told me that they were going to start 3-1 with being a defensive team that's holding teams like the Falcons to 17 points, and they lost Stephon Gilmore and Darby, no way. But somehow they're doing it. But with the Falcons, I think this is the other game that I was saying, at the beginning of the season, most people thought that Atlanta was going to run away with the NFC South. Well, now it looks like everyone's kind of evening out a little bit. I mean, the Saints are up there. Panthers played good. They beat the Patriots. I mean, yeah, I think Bucks look good. They have a tough one tonight. We'll see how they look tonight, but I think that NFC South is just they've all improved, and Atlanta they might have not improved. So I think it's gonna be a shootout in the NFC South.
So we'll transition over to another AFC East, NFC South matchup as we had 3 going on. So Panthers beat the Pats. The Pats obviously with that terrible defense right now, and Panthers showing a little life in their offense. We mentioned, obviously, Cam Newton didn't have a preseason. He had his preseason kind of the first couple weeks, and it turned out pretty well for them, Sunday. But is it something that can keep going? Because that is a bad defense they face. Now they have to keep it up. The Panthers haven't always been consistent like they've needed to. So Any other takeaways you saw from that game?
Not really from the game, but after the game, and then again today. It was either today or yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Cam goes out and has a game like that, and then runs his mouth like that. It's a child. Next.
I mean, something that I don't understand how this defense is so bad. I mean, you have Belichick as a coach. Think about some of the guys they have: Malcolm Butler, Pat Chung, Trey Flowers, Devin McCourty, Stephon Gilmore, Hightower. This is a team on paper that you look at them and like, man, I thought this was going to be one of the better defenses going into this season. And I don't know what's up with them, but they are awful. If you have any Bucks players at all, for the love of God, start them in fantasy tonight. Because they will score a lot, probably, hopefully.
So, interesting to see where both teams move on from there. I'll get a little personal for me. The Lions playing a defensive game here, 14-7 win. I don't think I'm used to seeing the Lions win because of defense, but they did. 3 fumble recoveries, one granted being Cook when Cook tore his ACL. Just lost it when he went down.
He didn't just tear it.
Yeah.
He ripped that sucker to shreds.
Yeah. But the defense just playing great. Zettel showing something on the other side of Ansah. Gerard Davis showing some life early as a great rookie. Glover Quinn's been rated one of the best safeties this year so far. Very underrated. Killebrew, second-year safety, has been one of the best second-year safeties, just right there behind Joseph of the Raiders. I mean, he's been playing great. Big play Slay, showing a true number 1 corner. Quandre Diggs for Randell there, playing a great nickel corner. And, yeah, the offense didn't look great. And I know we mentioned this last night. We didn't get to. The Lions just couldn't get that 100-yard rusher, and it was Reggie Bush was the last one. 6 yards away, Abdullah they took off the questionable today. It was just a precautionary. They didn't want to put him out there if it wasn't necessary. So 6 yards away from getting it. Maybe a possibility of the first 1,000-yard rusher since Kevin Jones of UCF. The offense isn't clicking right now, but when Decker gets back, that'll really help get Greg Robertson out of there, a huge bust. That's just not a good offensive lineman to be playing. But Stafford not making mistakes. That is the big thing there. Don't make mistakes. Win games. Defense showing up. So if you want to add anything to that, I just happy to actually see a good defense.
Oh, I mean, one thing I think is it's so good to see that Detroit is trying to get that running game going too, because that's going to help Stafford out. I mean, 20 rushes for Amir Abdullah. When's the last time you remember a Detroit game where one running back got 20 carries? I feel like it's probably been a while. You don't see that much out of Detroit. Stafford only had 31 passing attempts. I mean, usually he's in like the high 40s, maybe 50s. Something else, I mean, awful about Dalvin Cook, but now if you're a fantasy guy, Latavius Murray, pick him up. Dude was a terror in the goal line last year for Oakland. Had so many like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-yard touchdowns. And then Diggs is still rolling, 5 for 98. He's having a great season so far. Thielen's doing pretty well too. Looks like it doesn't matter what quarterback's in there. Diggs and Thielen are going to get theirs. So yeah. 14-7 though from a Lions game. Wow.
Yeah, that's another oddity there. Lions winning a game like that and the Saints shutting someone out.
Right.
Something new every day. So we'll move to Thomas's expertise here and a throttling of the Titans, the Texans. Wow.
Yeah.
Let you have that, Thomas.
I'm telling you, the Deshaun Watson effect. If you're not a believer, I know the Titans are the Titans, but the dude put up 90 points in 2 games. Even against terrible defenses, they're NFL defenses. And 90 points in 2 games is unheard of. He had 4 touchdown passes. He had a dumb interception and was only sacked 1 time. 98.3 QBR. Had so many yards of offense, 283 yards, obviously passing, but 173 yards on the ground. And I mean, the defense allowing 86 yards passing. 109 yards passing and 86 yards rushing. Crazy. But like I said, the true test will be this weekend when they face the Chiefs. If they can beat the Chiefs, and it doesn't even have to be a game like this where they just run away with it. If Deshaun Watson finds a way to win the game, no matter if it's a defensive game, then you can't not say anything bad about him. Like it's the dude's a stud. And when I was talking to Randall during the draft, I didn't really get excited or anything like that, because I don't really like the fact that you give up the proverbial farm for one guy, and then especially when they said that Tom Savage was going to start, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me, because you don't just give up all that you gave up and not start the guy that you picked, But hey, I love him, and if he continue to play like this and score more points than they ever did last year, because Brock Osweiler was terrible, and he's all right in my book.
Randall?
I mean, there's not much to say on this game. I mean, it was a blowout.
The offensive line gave up 2 sacks. 2.
Mariota goes down. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how much he if he plays. I don't know if they've made a decision not yet or not if he's playing. But they signed
Brandon Weeden.
Brandon Weeden. I'm not going to get started.
Hashtag Kaepernick.
I'm not going to start on that. Not even going to start on that. They have Matt Castle and Brandon Weeden backing up a team that runs the read option with Mariota. Just saying. But I like seeing Foreman getting carries again. 13 carries.
Most of it was garbage time.
Yeah, granted it's garbage time, but still, I think, he had 13 carries, 45 yards. Even though it's garbage time, he's still showing that he can play a little bit. I think he's going to keep getting more and more carries, and I think that'll, even though it might take away carries from Lamar Miller, I think it'll help Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
Because, no one's scared. I mean, no offense, but with the combo of y'all's offensive line and Lamar Miller, I'm not scared of Lamar Miller running between the tackles against me. So you don't have to worry about that.
You're scared of Deontay Foreman.
You're scared of Deontay Foreman running between those tackles. He will either go through you or jump over you.
Right. But Lamar Miller also was a second leading receiver as well.
Yeah.
So he's getting used in the way that the Texans brought him in as. And, Houston's always had a good run game, with Arian Foster, but it's going to be like the 2012 season where Ben Tate and Arian Foster both had over 1,000 yards rushing. And, if Foreman can get up there and split that much time with him, then I don't see why it couldn't happen, honestly.
One more thing. Your boy Dylan Cole making a little push for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm telling you, boys. He's good. He's good.
So we'll move to one of our secondary favorite teams, those Los Angeles Rams. And, as much as some of us don't like the Cowboys, I don't think this is about the Cowboys. This is about the Rams looking pretty good. And I know last night we got cut off and we had a lot of Rams talk. There's a lot of good Rams talk. So we'll try not to do as much because we'll definitely run too long. But something interesting, I think we both, Randall and I agreed. I'll ask you, Thomas. Randall and I both think next year the Rams can win the division. What do you think?
I think they can win the division this year.
Okay.
Honestly. Their biggest competition they'll face this week. So,
yeah.
The
one thing is Seattle does struggle playing the Rams on the road.
Yeah, if they stick to their formula of handing Todd Gurley the ball a lot and Jared Goff doesn't make mistakes, I could easily see them winning that game and the division as well, because that division is not good right now outside of the Seahawks and Rams, and
But I know something very interesting Randall and I were talking about is Sean McVay how young he is. What if he coaches for like 30 years,
all in LA?
All in LA. That would
Holy
be,
crap.
yeah. Just think about that. And I know what we were talking about, man. He is so smart.
That man's gonna
offensively.
get paid.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He is so smart offensively. And when they move to that new stadium, man, the Rams are gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun stadium to be at. And their offense. There's so much weapons with it. Goff looking like a real quarterback. Gurley getting used in the receiving game. Just get the ball in your best player's hands. You have Sammy Watkins learning to get along with Goff. That's going to be a deadly deep threat. You have Robert Woods, super underrated. Connor Kupp, huge. I think we're all huge fans of him. He's a great receiver. That's a trio. That's a great trio to have. The offensive line, like Randall mentioned, Whitworth coming in. That's shorted up. Wade Phillips on defensive coordinator. That's a big addition as well, not just player wise. What was the stat you had?
Cooper Kupp's pretty good.
Randall, what was the stat you had on Wade Phillips?
Oh, yeah. I think they said it was like the past 2 or 3 teams that he's been the defensive coordinator. The first year that he is the defensive coordinator there, that team ends up in the playoffs. So,
Wade Phillips, a good addition to your team. I mean, we were talking about the criticism that some people gave McVay about sitting on the bench on the water cooler, looking over stuff. But we both agree. Obviously, he came in to get the offense fixed. Let Wade Phillips does his thing on defense. You don't need to be standing over his shoulder because Wade Phillips knows what he's doing.
Bingo.
I'll just let you take away on that a little more Rams.
Yeah. So obviously, I think they're great. Their offense looks really, really good right now, except for one thing that scares me. Zerlin kicked 7 field goals. He went 7 for 7. That's great. 7 for 7. You have a good kicker. You have a great kicker. He scored me 27 fantasy points. He won me my fantasy game. Thank you, Zerlin. But 7 for 7 means they got stopped in the red zone or close to the red zone 7 times. That shouldn't happen. When you have that kind of firepower on offense, this game shouldn't have been 35-30. It should have been a lot. Rams should have been blowing this team out. If they're on that side of the field 7 times and don't get in the end zone, that's not great. So when you play a team that has a better defense than Dallas, with which all they have is they have a good pass rusher, they got Byron Jones, and they have Jalen Smith that will make some plays for him at that middle linebacker spot, but those DBs are sorry, and the rest of that defense is not good. So if you're getting held 7 times on that side of the field by a Cowboys defense, when you go up against a Seahawks defense twice, when that Seahawks defense starts getting it together a little bit more, it might be rough for them to get in the end zone because they might not be on that side of the field that many times. They need to capitalize when they're on that side of the field. So that's just one thing that scares me, that leads me to believe that I don't think they're going to quite win that division yet. I think next year is the when they win it, and I think they might dominate it next year. But right now, I don't think they're ready yet. Not yet. Next year.
But we were talking about with the NFC South beating each other up. That could open up a second wild card.
Yeah.
You mentioned the NFC West is bad. So if you get your wins versus the Cardinals, you get your wins versus the 49ers, you split versus the Seahawks. You are in great position for a wild card. And I agree with you on the whole red zone, close to red zone. I think the second worst thing we agree on, pick a color on the uniforms, white or gold.
Sure.
Don't use both. That's not a good combination. Go with one. I like
go with the white.
I go with the white. They're going gold. They're going throwback versus Seahawks. All gold though. So
and guess what? I like their color rush uniforms. I said it. I like it.
No, you don't.
I did.
So we'll move on. It's an interesting, big 3:00 game. The Raiders and the Broncos. Derek Carr. 2 to 6 weeks. EJ Manuel will be stepping in. Man, that's not a good thing you want to be hearing for your team. The Broncos run D obviously amazing, holding all their opponents to under 100 rushing yards. Their top running, that's insane. All the running backs they face, 100 rushing yards under. But that pass game, Trevor Siemian's still not all, what you want. And the Raiders, this is not good for a wild card bid with the Chiefs dominating like they are. So what do you guys take away from that game?
Amari Cooper needs to come out of hiding fast because they're not doing a daggum thing until he does. No matter who's throwing the ball, whether it's the fact that he was struggling with Derek Carr is astounding. You can't be that talented and have a catch for 9 yards. That's all. I think that's all he had. I mean, obviously a defensive game when you're talking about the Broncos, but I think their game against the Cowboys was kind of a fluke as far as scoring that many points. As you said, the Cowboys defense has one, maybe two good pass rushers, a good linebacker. I don't give Jalen Smith credit right now. He hasn't shown anything. Sean Lee's out next week. BT Dubs, fun fact. But the secondary is awful. Like, they're so young, and like I know Orlando Scandrick is back there, but he can't stay on the field. And those rookies probably never seen a shifty route runner like Emmanuel Sanders, who burned him twice. So if Trevor Siemian can, and like we're seeing a lot of these now, the Alex Smith-esque quarterbacks where you can just manage and not make mistakes, drive the ball down the field, and just get points on every drive, you're going to win with that defense.
But what does Alex Smith have behind him that Trevor Siemian doesn't? C.J. Anderson. Bingo. C.J. Anderson, he went 20 for 95 this week, but I don't think C.J. Anderson is that good of a running back.
He is fourth right now in rushing yards.
Yeah,
that's fine, but he didn't have a good season last season. Season before that, I think the season before that was his best season.
That was his breakout season.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that top tier kind of running back. That this team is built like that. They're built like a team that's going to run the ball and play good defense. And I just don't think C.J. Anderson is that kind of running back that can take all that.
I think you'll change your mind about that, in the future. But right now, I can see where you're saying that. But I think how they're built, like you said, that'll change. I think your mind will change.
I'm going to cut in here. I think actually what makes the difference is Jamal Charles. The change of pace of Jamal Charles, if he can stay healthy, will actually help. He comes in for 7 to 8 touches, maybe 10 on a good day, and he gets his good old yards per carry that Jamal Charles does, and then you put CJ back in there and pound it down again. I think it's a good addition that helps them both out.
Yeah, I still, I'm not sold on Siemian even being that great of a game manager yet. You say he needs to be Alex Smith, but Alex Smith is really, really good. I don't think Siemian
Alex Smith-esque.
Well, still, I don't think Siemian is gonna be able to go. Alex Smith's big thing his whole career has been he doesn't throw interceptions. I think Siemian can throw interceptions. I don't think he's that great of a game manager to not throw interceptions like Smith does and some of those other really great game managers do. Which, by the way, I think we need to stop calling Alex Smith a game manager because that dude's killing it right now.
But what does Alex Smith have that not everyone else has?
Exactly. But last year, he had a good season last year, too. And
I agree.
He didn't have a great running game last year. But, yeah.
Speaking of those Chiefs, we'll move on to that Monday Night Football game. It was a great game. I think Thomas's Redskin pick, NFC East, looking really good. I know they lost in the end, but I think that the Redskins made a little bit of a showing in Kansas City that they are a real team to deal with. But the Chiefs did what they always do. They play some great defense and a clutch drives. Alex Smith making those plays, scrambling out of the pocket, getting it done. It was a great game to watch. So any big takeaways from that, Randall?
My only takeaway is Kareem Hunt. Actually, and Alex Smith with his rushing ability.
You forget about it. He played for Urban Myers. Don't forget that.
Yeah, 7 for 56 and a touchdown. I can't remember some of the big name running backs that that I heard someone listing the other day, but they were listing all these running backs, and then they had like a mystery player, and they're like, who is this mystery player that has more rushing yards and more touchdowns on the season? It's Alex Smith. He's out rushing some of these running backs that should be top tier running backs right now. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, that offense is strangely pretty stacked. I mean, I didn't think they had much coming into the season, but Tyreek Hill didn't even get used that much this past week. 5 for 35. And he didn't have. Usually he gets rushing too, and he didn't even get rushing. I mean, Kareem Hunt went 21 for 101. But yeah, that Kansas City offense is looking pretty good, and of course that defense is going to be. It'll be back. I think 20 points on that defense from the Redskins isn't that great personally, but I think that defense is one of the better defenses in the league to me.
Thomas?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I knew it was going to be a close game. I think I even called it being by a field goal. I might not have, but
which if that didn't happen at the end,
yeah. So it was a toss up. I obviously picked the Redskins because I have them winning the NFC East. Not that this game has any effect on who wins that game, but it would help. But it was a solid game. I thought both teams looked good. So good football.
Good football. So we'll move in to our pick'ems, and we're gonna start right away with Thursday night. We got the Pats traveling to Tampa Bay, take on the Bucks. Thomas, who do you have?
On the one hand, you have the Bucks riding a good win. And on the other hand, you have a pissed off Tom Brady. But you also have a pissed off Tom Brady without Gronk. Ugh. This one's hard already, man. I'm gonna pick the Patriots tonight.
Randall?
I got Bucks.
All right. I'm going pissed off Tom Brady. Pats. So we'll move on to the noon games on Sunday. Panthers travel to Detroit, take on the Lions. Randall?
I'm picking your boys. Going Detroit.
All right. Thomas? Another tough one. I know. Defense here.
I think Cams can get away from that defense, so I'm going with the Panthers.
Okay. Well, I'm going with the Lions.
Obviously.
Fair enough. I like the defense, and I feel like the offense will start clicking. I'm no problem trusting what good old Jim Bob Cooter and Caldwell have to do to fix it. So
Somebody's mother hated them.
So we got the first place AFC East Bills traveling to Cincinnati. Thomas, who do you got?
I got the Bills, man. Picked against them once last week. I ain't doing that again. Plus the Bengals if they're not playing the Browns, they're bad.
It stops this week. It stops now. The madness stops. Cincinnati. Mixon finally scores.
Well,
not AJ Green?
I'm riding the wagon. Buffalo Bills. Keep that first place.
It stops now.
Here's a fun game for all you guys. The last time this season the Browns will be favored. Home game versus the Jets. Thomas, take it away.
Jets, baby. You got to go with them. They're playing the Browns.
Randall, this is an interesting one with your bet you have going on with the Jets.
I'm going Browns, and for the love of God, Browns, please. I'm begging you.
Josh McCown gets his old team. He's going to go off. He's going to go off.
Kaiser, please. Isaiah Crowell, please.
No,
Duke Johnson, please.
he ain't doing nothing. Duke
Thank
Johnson
you.
might do something, but I don't think Correll's doing anything.
You know what? I've got the Browns. This is the Browns Super Bowl of the year. The last time they're favorited all year. Home game. They're not favorited in any game during the rest of the year. This is the only this is their big chance to get off the snide here. So
That should be a primetime game.
Oh, that
should be
so much fun. Monday Night Football right there. So we'll move over to another great matchup. 49ers travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Randall with the eye roll. Take it away.
I mean, I'll take the Colts. Whatever.
Thomas.
Who cares?
Is Andrew Luck playing yet?
Nope.
No.
All right. I'll still take the Colts.
You know, I'm going Colts as well. 49ers let me down. They almost gave me that nice, sneaky win last week. I thought they had it, and then they blew it. They broke my heart. I'm going Jacoby Brissett at home.
Yep.
Hangs on, beat the 49ers. So we'll move on to the Dolphins' first home game of the year. No home games in September due to the hurricane. The Tennessee Titans and their mystery quarterback will take on the Dolphins at home. Randall.
You know what? I'm gonna say Mariota plays and they win. I'm gonna go Tennessee. But I reserve the right to say that if he doesn't play, I'm still picking Tennessee. Go Titans.
All right. Thomas.
Bro, you got to be more dramatic with your picks next time. Got to pause more.
That's you because you don't do your homework.
I'm going to go – no, I do my homework. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I feel like their first home game, there's a lot of emotion. Coming back home, Dolphins.
You know, whether or not Mariota plays, I'm going Titans. Jay Cutler does Jay Cutler things.
Underdog, baby.
Miami gets restless. Maybe throw some stuff at him. You never know. We'll have a fun press conference.
Do it.
If Mariota doesn't play, if Titans don't have Mariota, we're going to see 20 carries out of Derrick Henry and 20 carries out of Murray. Just run it all game, win it like 10-3.
This is the Kaepernick Bowl. This is both teams that should have Colin Kaepernick on the roster instead of Cutler and instead of whoever's going to back up Mariota if Mariota doesn't play. Ridiculous.
We're going with just an interesting game there. So we got a fun game here. Another fun game. We got just a great stretch going. 0-4 Chargers travel to 0-4 Giants. Someone is going to get a win. Thomas.
The Giants are going to get a win. It's happening.
Randall.
You know, I've been thinking the Chargers, but I'm gonna change my pick, and I think I'm gonna go Giants. I refuse to think that the Giants are an 0-5 team, caliber team. I just can't see it, especially because I picked them to win the division. So, Giants.
So,
that one's not working out for me.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay.
I think
they're
used to playing on the road. They're used to playing on the road there. All their home games are road games. If you heard that game, the Eagles took over Carson, California. So they're used to playing on the road. So this doesn't matter to them. And honestly, the crowd is going to be more hostile towards the Giants, as we saw Monday Night Football. If things don't go well quick, they're going to turn on the Giants. So it's going to help the Chargers in that way. And a nice little draft battle here, Eli and Phillip. I think Phillip Rivers has a little out that that they got that little trade. So I'm going to go roll with Phillip Rivers. So we'll move on to the Eagles at home facing the Arizona Cardinals.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Randall.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
And I'm going to join that. I'm sticking with my NFC East pick to keep rolling. So that's an easy one. This next game I think will be interesting. I actually considered back and forth on this one. The Steelers at home and the Jags coming in. You guys' Jags. That pass defense. Blake Bortles. Being Blake Bortles last week. So who do you got, Randall?
You know who I got. It's the Jags, baby.
Thomas.
I actually got the Steelers this week.
Boo!
I got the Steelers, man. Antonio Brown was pissed off last week and let everybody hear about it on the sideline. So,
Well, guess what? He's gonna be pissed off again when Jalen Ramsey locks him down. Best corner in the NFL.
So I'm going to go with the Steelers because they're at home. The Steelers are a very good home team. I just feel like Bortles is still just too hard for me to pick the Jags sometimes because you see last week and it's just a mess. That mechanics is awful. I don't understand what he's doing when he goes to throw. So we'll move to a good matchup. Not saying that last one wasn't, but I know we had that long stretch of some Rams at home versus the Seahawks. Randall.
I think they split this series with them, but I think this one goes to the Rams.
Thomas.
yeah, I think so too.
I'm on agreement here. Seahawks do struggle wherever the Rams are located. The Seahawks tend to struggle on the road versus the Rams.
It honestly depends on if the Seahawks can get whatever running back going. If they can get a running back going, then it's advantage Seahawks.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But the Seahawks are not a road team. That's been their biggest downfall. So I'm going Rams. I think they do split the series though, as well as you guys both said. So an interesting game. The EJ Manuel-led Raiders at home versus elite Joe Flacco. Thomas.
I'm going with Baltimore. Doing it. It's happening.
Randall.
I actually have Baltimore too.
We are a clean sweep.
Oh.
I can't trust EJ Manuel yet. I can't trust him yet. You know, if he pulls a win out, okay. But I can't. That Baltimore defense causes so many turnovers. They have 3 guys with 2 interceptions. That's insane. They just don't have to be bad on offense, and the Raiders just probably won't move it. So another 3 o'clock game going on. Cowboys at home facing the all-guard offensive line Packers. Randall, go.
I'm going Green Bay. I will never pick the Cowboys. Well, I'm not going to say I'm never going to pick the Cowboys. I'll pick them. I guarantee I'll pick them some against their own division. But I still like Rodgers. It's Rodgers. He's going to do what he does.
Thomas.
Yeah. If number 12 is playing, I'm picking him.
You know, I'm going to actually be different. I'm going with the Cowboys.
I need points. Blah, blah,
I need points.
Have you seen their defensive backs against the Aaron Rodgers? No.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys for points. They're at home. Their offensive line, I'm just hoping, is just bad enough where Lawrence gets sacks and Irving's back this week. So I'm hoping maybe that's going to cause enough that I get that point on you guys.
Rodgers is still Rodgers.
Yes, he is. So I'm just hoping for that point. Sunday Night Football. Thomas's home Texans bringing on the undefeated Chiefs. What do you say, Thomas?
Hey, the Houston went in and has beaten undefeated teams before on primetime. So I'm rolling with them, maybe. If DW4 starting, I'm rolling with them.
Randall.
This is where it stops. I'm sorry. Marcus Peters is going to shut D-Hop down.
Because he's done that so well in the past.
Going to shut D-Hop down. Kansas City.
Hey, nobody can catch up to Will Fuller, though, so.
You know, I'm actually going with the Texans.
4-2-5.
I'm going with the Texans. My thing is, I think that offense can get enough past the Chiefs, and their defense can hang with the Chiefs. And I like the Chiefs a lot. I don't see an undefeated team this year. They have to slip up somewhere. It might not even be like a slip up. It might just be a really good game that a home Texans team pulls it out. I think if this was on the road, I would probably change my mind. But a home Texans team, I think, can handle the Chiefs this week.
Let me say this too. I think if Kansas City, I don't actually think that Kansas City is just going to destroy the Texans. I'm just saying that to make Thomas angry. But I think if Kansas City is going to win this game, I don't think it's going to be a Kareem Hunt game. I think this is going to be like a Tyreek Hill speed game because I'm scared of that Houston defense in the run, man. That Houston defense in the run, you don't want any part of that. And I think this might.
If it's going to be anything, it's going to be a Travis Kelce game matched up against the safeties. So
okay, yeah. I mean, and I'm not necessarily saying that Ty's just going to like kill the corners. I'm just saying all the different things they do with Ty Hill. Yeah. It's like that kind of gadget.
Hey,
type
if they do it, because they didn't do a daggum thing with him against Washington.
No, they didn't, but Washington also is going to let up the run a lot more than the Texans defense is. So, True. Yeah.
That'll be a good Sunday night game other than our last week matchup. So, Monday Night Football. Mitch Trubisky Bears at home versus the Vikings of who knows who's starting. Thomas.
As much as I want to pick Trubisky, I'm going with the Vikings. I mean, they're still the Vikings, and the Bears are still the Bears.
Right. Randall.
I'm picking Minnesota, but you know who the real winner of this game is? You know who the real actual winner of this Monday night football game is? All the Star Wars fans. That's right, people. The Last Jedi trailer. It's dropping, supposedly, this game. That's all you're worried about. You don't care about this game. Last Jedi trailer. Isn't that right, Thomas?
That's all I care about.
You know, I think because they're at home, I'm picking Mitch Trubisky to have a little magic.
Ooh.
And I'm going with the Bears.
When you see a tweet out on our We Talk Sports Good page, hashtag Dom just needs the points.
Yeah.
And, you know, I need the points, but we saw Deshaun Watson get in there and get a win. I think maybe Mitch Trubisky can get in there with the win. They beat the Steelers. They almost beat the Falcons with Mike Glennon as the quarterback.
I don't know if
Trubisky running around a little bit can make some plays.
I don't know if anyone ever would put Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson in the same category.
I'm not putting them in the same category. I'm just saying putting them in and making a spark in the offense.
You put them in the same category as okay, true. I got you. I got where you're going.
That's what I'm going with it. I'm saying you put him in. He has a little bit different element to him. Mike Glennon, you're not going to see him running around. So I think that ability to run around and something just opens up, and maybe that big play will help.
I like Zach Miller, their tight end's chances with Trubisky, because I think a rookie quarterback always needs a good tight end to lean on. How long is Fedorowicz out, Thomas?
He's done.
Oh, is he done for the season?
Yeah, he got put on IR.
Okay. Well, I think next year when you see Fedorowicz come back and Watson has that tight end plus, you know, Lamar in the pass game and D-Hop, that's even more dangerous. I think every rookie quarterback needs a good tight end to rely on. Also, real quick recap of the points from last week. We forgot to do that. Thomas got 10 right. I got 9. Dom got 9. So now the total is Thomas has 20, I have 18, and Dom has 17. So you see why Dom's making these ridiculous picks.
Get the points. Get the points. So that's going to leave us a little bit of time here to do a little MVP discussion. First quarter, early in the year. You know, you can get on board with someone and things can change in a flash.
Throw a name out. Throw
a name out. Right now, if I'd say the season ends, I'm going Kareem Hunt.
Agree. Kareem Hunt now.
Right now. But if I'm going to predict how the season plays out, you know, I'm going to actually give this one to you, Randall. How the season's playing out, the NFC South is a battle, and the Saints make the playoffs, Drew Brees. That team, what's around it, I'm not saying it's bad, but if they make it the playoffs, it's because of Drew Brees. I'm going Drew Brees.
1,135 yards as of right now, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. He still has no interceptions. That's big. I think he's a dark horse in this thing. I'll throw out another name. Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley has a serious shot.
He is second in rushing yards, and he's actually up there in receiving, I saw. Not top 5, but he is tied for
in the
third.
running backs, definitely.
Yeah, in the running backs, but he is up there in receiving yards. I can't remember what his exact receiving rank like with receivers. He's also tied for third in receiving touchdowns, and he's tied for second in rushing touchdowns. So
Throwing
he's
out
getting in
Thomas.
the end zone.
Yeah, I like Breeze, and I also like Gurley. Those are the two that I really like. But like I said, or like y'all said, if the season ended now, it would be Hunt. But yeah,
But can we also not? Are no one going to throw Brady out there?
I was gonna do it if he didn't do it. You know,
I mean, Brady's looking good, but okay, Brady.
He's a man. He's 40.
This is the thing. Brady is still looking good, but because his team isn't doing what the Patriots are supposed to do, it looks worse. Like, you don't want to throw him in there because the Patriots are 2-2. It's not because of Tom Brady. The Patriots would be 1-3 if it wasn't for Tom Brady. So
see, I think and I think because we threw Drew Brees out there, no problem. But the Saints are 2-2, but you expect the Saints to be a 2-2. Honestly, you expect the Saints to be 1-3.
Right.
Tom Brady is 2-2, but you don't expect the Patriots to be 2-2. That might hurt if the Patriots don't do as well as everyone expects them to. That might hurt him in the MVP race, regardless of his stats. Which I mean right now he's leading 13 with 1399 in yards.
Well, he had an awesome season last year. I think the only thing that hurt him was the fact that he missed those 4 games.
Yeah.
So,
and then what's interesting too, I mean, we can throw out Rodgers as well.
Yeah, Rodgers is going to Rodgers just like Brady's going to Brady.
I honestly think it's going to come down. I love Gurley, and I'd love to see him in that race. I think it will come down to Brady, Rodgers, Breeze. I know that is the most stereotypical answer you could give, but as of right now, you see problems on all those teams. Saints have had their usual problems for a while now.
Yeah.
So whatever Drew Brees can do with that team, especially if he makes a playoff push and in the playoffs, that's huge. The Packers' offensive line, I know once they get them back, but they are bad. That offensive line is bad. It is literally Aaron Rodgers. If you have to get out of the pocket and just make a play. The defense, they still have some moving pieces, and the Patriots' defense is just terrible. So unless all of those start clicking, those 3 guys, I mean, that's what they're for. Carry your team. And if they do carry their team, that's an MVP.
Say all 3 of them, say Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, they end up top 3 in passing yards, top 3 in touchdowns. It doesn't matter which rank they are, 1, 2, 3. I think what it will come down to is which team does the best for what they were supposed to do. So if the Saints say Saints win 10 games, no way they're supposed to win 10 games. Yeah. And Breeze is in the top 3 in both those categories, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins MVP. Personally, though, I think I might go with Rodgers at the end because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rodgers is always like a second half season kind of guy, and the Packers as a whole are usually come on strong there at the end, and so I think he'll end up with that lack of, depending on how Montgomery does with his injury throughout the season, because that seems, I know it's a broken rib and he's supposed to be able to come back soon, but to me that's something that's still going to linger throughout the season and be a problem. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll also see how Aaron Jones does this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He could be the next Kareem Hunt, but probably not.
But like you said, interesting on Rodgers. Though I want to get out there. He's 3rd in passing yards, 1,146. Mm-hmm. He's tied with Brady for first with 10 touchdowns. Okay. And like you said, he is a second half guy. It is true. He is usually a second half guy, but he's putting that up first half with the Packers kind of around him. I mean, they have good pieces, but they're not still, like you said, they sometimes take those weird losses early in the year. And then that second half, oh, wow, the defense looks good. Everything on the offense looks good. I mean, that could play into Rodgers right there if they just go on a tear.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I thought Tom Brady had an interception or 2, but he still hadn't thrown an interception either.
He should have had one that ended the game or whatever.
But on the stat sheet, he doesn't have an interception, so that's a little game changer. But yeah, I think at the end, I think it's going to be Rodgers personally.
So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So it is 7:26, and we're gonna wrap it up here, so you guys can all get to either watching the Thursday night game or maybe streaming both the ALDS Indians Yankees.
Go Stros, baby! Woo!
So yes, Astros won. That'll be for our MLB walk-off walk. We can get a little bit of that in. Anyways, we'll wrap it up here so you can get on to watching either of those games or both. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We talk sport good. And we also have a Facebook and Snapchat. Randall, give that a quick shout out.
Oh, yeah. Facebook, it's set up as like, I don't even know exactly what it's called because I'm not big on Facebook. What is it? Just a page? I think that's what it is. Yeah, just search We Talk Sports Good, and it's a page. You can follow it or whatever it is on Facebook. And then our Snapchat, go to our Twitter, and we have pinned is our Snapchat code. And I only took one picture before today of us getting ready, but we'll see if we can add a little bit more. I might talk a little trash to Thomas on that Snapchat account, and he might take over and talk some trash back. You never know. So, yeah.
Oh, it's definitely going to happen.
So, yeah, follow, like, subscribe,
share.
all those words, share.
Your money.
We'll take your money.
We will take your money. We'll set up a GoFundMe. Just
hey, if you give us money, I guarantee we will be on something other than Google Hangout, and we will have better quality, and we will have intros because Thomas can make intros.
Yeah. So, hey, if you want, you will be our proud sponsor. We'll put that in there. So, hey, shout out to if you want some little. We have a lot of things we can offer for it. So, anyways, subscribe, like, follow, tweet at us, ask us questions, all that good stuff. And tune in next Monday and Wednesday for our shows. So, signing out and enjoy sports.